You get that unexpected email. The subject line is, "Ever thought of selling?" And just like that, your brain starts racing. Is this it? Is this the life-changing exit you've been building toward? Or is this just another tire kicker with no money? Or someone looking for inside intelligence? Most founders freeze when this email comes in. Or worse, fumble this opportunity. Today, I'm going to hand you the exact playbook that I teach inside of our Founder Mastermind for handling inbound acquisition interest. It's built to help you spot real buyers, protect your time, and turn inbound interest into a maximum valuation, all without getting played. In this video, you'll learn the strategic frame that will put you on the path to success, what to say and what not to say, what to ask, and finally, when you should move forward and when to walk away. With this information, you'll be able to navigate inbound acquisition interest with confidence and control. I lead Nemawashi Circle, a mastermind for founders of consulting firms. We help consulting firm owners productize their services, get out of the day-to-day operations, and build firms that buyers will compete to acquire. I've guided multiple founders through their exit transactions, including one that sold for $52 million. By the way, if you're curious what your firm's actually worth, we've got a free valuation calculator you can try. It's honest, it's a little bit brutal, but it shows you exactly where you stand and what you need to fix. The link to that is in the description. Let's start with the two most common mistakes that founders make when a buyer comes knocking. The first mistake is ignoring every inquiry. It's tempting to delete that email and skip the call, especially if it feels vague and it's unsolicited. But even a weak offer can teach you something. You'll learn how buyers think, what they value, and how they're sizing up a firm like yours. Dismissing every approach means missing a free look inside the buyer's thinking. The second mistake is chasing every offer. Some founders lean in too fast. They treat every inbound message like it's a serious opportunity. And before long, they're spending hours on calls chasing a deal that may never exist. Meanwhile, the business, the one that actually might sell someday, starts to suffer. The smarter move? Stay open, but not overly available. Take the call. Ask the right questions. Learn what you can. Then move on quickly if it's not a fit. That's how you stay sharp, stay informed, and avoid getting pulled in to M&A time wasting. Next, be a student of the game. When a buyer reaches out, you're not just answering their questions, you're gathering intelligence for your side too. This is your chance to study how the buy side thinks, talks, and acts. Your first mission is to start by figuring out what kind of buyer you're dealing with. Are they a strategic acquirer looking for capabilities, clients, or market share? Or are they a financial buyer focused purely on returns and cash flow? Strategic buyers usually pay more because they see your firm as a puzzle piece that fits into the bigger picture of their firm. Then listen to how they talk about the space. Do they understand the market? Or are they just testing the waters in an industry they barely know? Pay attention to what they ask you about and what they gloss over. That tells you exactly what they're optimizing for. Additionally, you need to start learning the language of M&A, an investment thesis, letter of intent, search funds, private equity firms, brokers, bankers. The more fluent you are in the language of M&A, the better you'll do, and the quicker you'll spot whether they're serious or just browsing. Now, those first few calls, don't treat them like sales pitches. There's a 99.9% chance that the first few conversations you have will not end in a deal. But think of them as a lesson in how buyers think and act. You're studying the game at this point. Take notes. Decompress your thoughts after a call. This is how you optimize for learning as much as possible. The next strategic play is to map out the active acquirers for a firm like yours. You want to figure out what kinds of deals they're doing, and if they're buying talent, clients, IP, or if it's just EBITDA they're interested in. You want to figure out what patterns are showing up in how they structure those deals. Think of this as a living CRM of potential buyers. This is going to be a long-term activity for you because here's the truth. Strategic buyers prepare well in advance of a deal being done. Founders, they often decide to sell one random month when they're ready to make a dramatic exit. You need to flip that dynamic. And the way that you do that is knowing the landscape of acquirers before you ever need it. That's how you walk into negotiations with leverage and not just questions. The next thing to be strategic about is to get clear on what you're going to tell your team. This gets skipped way too often. and it's not thought about until a deal is already in the works. Ask yourself, when do you bring your team into the loop? And how do you do it? Because if your leadership team finds out you've been exploring a sale from LinkedIn or a rumor mill, you're going to have a trust issue. You know your company better than anyone, so this is going to be a dealer's choice type of strategy. But I've had clients that have told the entire company that selling is the goal, and they should all be working towards that goal. Everybody knew a sale was coming. It was omnipresent, and it was just the next stage of their company's maturity. So you need to decide in advance what's right for you. Who should know what and when? What do you share and in what order? How do you stay transparent without creating panic or distraction? Even whispers about a potential sale can rattle morale or even spark unhelpful speculation. So don't wing it. Craft the message now. Make a plan. So if and when the time comes, you communicate with intention and clarity. Next, I want to see you build an intelligence network of other founders. This is a strategic play that most miss. Make friends with other founders, especially the ones who've sold or are getting ready to sell. Not M&A advisors, not bankers, other founders. And here's why. They've sat or are sitting in your same seat. They might be way farther up the learning curve than you are, and they'll usually give you the unfiltered version of their exit. Think about it like this. That $8 million exit that you heard about through the grapevine, that founder might tell you that they left $4 million on the table by making a crucial mistake, like hiring the wrong advisor or moving too fast. Publicly, they would never say such a thing because it's hard for most people to hear someone who just made $8 million complaining about it. Even your direct competitors can become allies here. You're not just swapping stories, you're raising each other's game. It's reciprocal. The best way to get this important information shared with you is by sharing information yourself. You should model the behavior that you would like to be reciprocated. Nobody talks about this part, but this is where a real cheat code lives. Founders talk. They want to share the information that they could have used in their exit transactions. And if you listen right, you'll win. So now let's jump into the tactical part of this video. What to actually say and do when someone expresses interest in buying your firm. Let's start with the go-to response to that first email that keeps you in control. You should reply, "I'm not actively selling, but I'm open to the right offer if it makes sense for everyone involved." That simple sentence does two important things. First, it expresses that you're open to an acquisition conversation. Second, it signals that you have no need to sell and that you're not desperate. Some first-time callers are going to be screening for desperation and deals to be had. Now, let's say you move forward to the first call. This first call isn't a pitch by you. It's a filtering call. This frame puts you in control. You're looking for answers to 5 key questions. What's your time frame for a deal? This tells you how serious they are and what their urgency is. Next, you want to ask, how do you plan to fund the acquisition? Is it cash, debt, equity? This gives you a read on whether they can actually execute the transaction. If the other side is a company, you want to know if they have the budget approved to make acquisitions, or they'll only go to the board after a letter of intent or after due diligence. If it's a PE firm, you want to know if they have a committed fund or if they're going to fundraise specifically for this transaction. Next, you want to ask, what EBITDA multiples have you paid for similar firms? If they avoid this, they're either not being transparent or they don't know the market. Both of these can be a red flag. Next, you want to ask, what part of your strategy would my firm help you fulfill? This tells you if they've actually thought about fit or if they're just scanning for deals to be had. And finally, you should ask, what deal sizes are ideal for you? This helps you understand if you're even in the right ballpark. Now, if they fumble through these questions or give vague answers, it's okay to hit pause. Not every conversation needs to continue. If you're talking to a junior analyst, and you probably will be on one of these first calls, don't expect full clarity. That's normal. The junior people that are doing business development for them might not have the strategy completely internalized. Let that junior guy know you'd like to speak with someone more senior before you proceed. If you're speaking with a principal at a PE firm or a strategic buyer, they should know this stuff cold. And they really shouldn't be reticent to tell you this information. This isn't just about protecting your time. It's also about signaling that you know how the game is played. Now, if the conversation moves forward, it's time to share a bit more. but on your terms. Start by sending over a mutual NDA. Once that's signed, the minimum viable product that you can provide is a one-pager with all of the essentials about your business. Your revenue from the past 12, 24, and 36 months, plus your EBITDA for the same time periods, your team size, and most importantly, why clients stick around. What's the story that makes your firm great? What makes retention strong? Here, you're starting to build the acquisition narrative. If you did a good job of intelligence gathering in the first call, they'll be delighted to see some of the very same reasons for acquisition that they mentioned to you. You want to make it this easy for them to connect the dots. If you want to be more elaborate, you can send over a SIM at this point. This stands for Confidential Information Memorandum, and this is a 12 to 20 page document that shares the same information that I'm suggesting in the minimum viable product one-pager. That's it. That's all you should be sharing at this time. Keep it tight. And here's what you don't share. You don't share client lists. You don't share any source code. You don't share any secret sauce. And nothing that would let someone copy your business by Monday. Now, if there's issues with your business, now is the time to call them out. Be honest about the blemishes. It's better to get your flaws into the price early when they are still bidding you up than to have them discovered later and used to discount the price. At this point, you want to ask for an indication of interest, or an IOI. Before any more meetings or data dumps or any due diligence, ask for this indication of interest. This is a light, non-binding version of the letter of intent, which is also non-binding. It should include a ballpark valuation with an EBITDA multiple, an estimated deal structure, and that means how much will be in cash and how much will be in earnout, and a timeline to get to a letter of intent. If they can't produce this, they're probably not serious and it's time to walk away. My clients often ask me, should I hire a banker right away? And the answer is no, not at first. Those early calls, you want to take them. You want to hear the conversations, and you're using these as a learning opportunity. You don't want to have a filter between you and the information. You don't want that salesy noise to come in when somebody else is interpreting conversations and relaying information. But once real offers start landing, and if you want to get serious and move forward, especially if more than one buyer is circling around your firm, it is time to get an M&A advisor. And the reason for this is they run a structured process. They hold people to timelines, and they keep the whole process moving forward. Next, they might be able to manufacture a bidding war. Next, they know how to play bad cop during tough negotiations, saving you from having to do that. Lastly, they can implement a ratification strategy that's harder for you to do on your own. What this means is they collect information from the other side and they say, I'll check with my client and get back to you. An M&A advisor's fee becomes well worth it if they can drive the price of your firm up by just 20 or 30%. But you don't need to bring them in too early. That's just a distraction. You don't need to bring them in too early, but don't go it alone when the stakes get real. Okay, so let's wrap this video up. Here's one big truth that I want you to know. The best exits don't happen on your timeline. They happen when a buyer's timeline overlaps with you being prepared. So you want to be the guy who's always ready, not because you're desperate to sell, but because you've built a company someone else wants to own and you've done your homework. You want to keep your options open. And when the right offer shows up, walk into that conversation with clarity, leverage, and confidence. Thanks for sticking around to the end of this video. I'm Kevin Mara, and if this video helped, please drop a comment, give it a like, and subscribe for more no-fluff, founder-focused exit strategy content. If you'd like more information about our mastermind group, where consulting firm owners like you turn their expertise into productized offers, build firms that run without them, and put themselves in a position for a high-value exit, check out the link in the description. You'll get instant access to a video that breaks down how Nemawashi Circle works, who it's for, and the kinds of results founders are seeing. See you in the next video.